FibreSeek reached out to me to see if I wanted to test out their new 3D printer. It's called the FibreSeeker 3. It is a prototype.
Now look at this. Mind you, this is just a prototype.
Which means this is just going to be a first look video. And the projected price for the launch special is $2,699. Now let's go over some of the standard features. And one of the most unique features is the continuous carbon fiber. It has strength up to 900 MPa, has dual nozzles, one for CFC and the other one for FFF. And for the standard printing, it can reach speeds up to 500 millimeters per second. The build volume is 300 by 300 by 245, has auto leveling and calibration, has an integrated intelligent camera. One nozzle can reach 320 and the other 350C for the CFC nozzle. And this printer can print a ton of different materials such as PLA, PETG, PC, PA, PACF, PETGF, and plus lots of different proprietary different blends. As you see, setup is pretty much a breeze, and the back is where you're going to mount your two spools, and then the side it has a separate compartment for your continuous carbon fiber, and it goes in right through that little hole there. Let's talk about the nozzles really quick here. You have two separate nozzles, and it actually has a mechanical switch. When it wants to switch to the carbon fiber, it actually has a 90-degree bend where the filament gets pushed through a molted vat of material. And then it pushes the carbon fiber through it, thus coating the carbon fiber. Pretty darn slick. And with powering it up, it actually has a really vibrant screen. Sorry about the reflection in it. I really tried to get rid of it, but it's very responsive. You got your files, then you have your loading of your filament and your carbon fiber, and just a host of other features on it. And of course, before we begin, like almost any modern printer, we're going to do a calibration, and this takes about 10 minutes to complete. And what's it going to do? Well, it's going to do the resonance compensation, the nozzle offset, and the bed leveling. Again, it does take a little while for it to complete, and just go ahead and make yourself a coffee or start watching a sitcom or something. Like I said, it does take a while, and you'll see that each of the probes is like 3 times. So I'm hoping that they could speed this up in the future. But again, this is just a prototype, so I'm trying not to be too picky. Now let's talk about your filament and the carbon fiber. Having a separate spool of just dedicated carbon fiber means that you could just blend it with practically any other filament that you have. And after talking to the present CEO of FibreSeek, he said that this one spool could last up to 5 spools of blending. Because technically, you're going to save some money here, because, you know, I buy my spools of PETG sometimes for $14 each on Amazon. Considering that this spool of carbon fiber is $50, and then you buy a spool of, say, PETG for $15 to $17, you are really saving yourself some money here. And to top it off, you could actually choose what blend of carbon fiber to regular filament that you want. So depending on the strength level you want, you can add more carbon fiber or you can add less. Very customizable. Now this printer came with translucent PLA, and actually I put this in on the back here, and I actually took it off pretty much right away because I really didn't want to test with PLA. I actually wanted to test with PETG because I really wanted to do more of a strength test, and I wanted something a little bit more durable. Now this machine is running Clipper, and it's Moonraker, and you've seen one interface, you've seen them all practically. The only thing that really stands out that's different is that you have more than one extruder, and of course you have your other stuff as, you know, the webcam, console, and then height map, G-code, you know, check your history and everything. Again, nothing really stands out to me. But what is different is this Aurora slicer. Totally different. Never seen anything like it from a slicer standpoint. And it's got all your different profiles here, lots of profiles for your filament. And then you have other profiles on here for the combination of your carbon fiber as well as your filament. And of course you could select the printer that you have, and that was kind of buried in there, or actually it's on the launch screen. I didn't really see it, so definitely want to make sure that you click the right printer. And then you could set your parameters here for any of the filament that you're using. And because actually the PETG likes to run a little bit hotter than normal. And as you're choosing your infill for your carbon fiber, you can see that in the orange. I was going to print out this hammer, but then I saw that there was a break basically where it didn't have any carbon fiber between the neck and the handle. So that was an experiment that didn't work out for me. But I did find another experiment to do for the strength test. So I'm looking forward to that. And as I mentioned, you do not have to inject carbon fiber into every print. This does have 2 nozzles, so if you want to just print regularly, you can, and up to 500 millimeters per second, and it will just use the right nozzle. One pretty nice feature during this time lapse is that it has that progress bar, so you know what the status is of the print job. So I decided to actually do my test prints in the clear PETG for this benchy, and as well as this bag holder. It's definitely very unique printing in some clear PETG because you could actually see all the infill, and this benchy came out really nice. Very little stringing. Again, it likes to run a little hot, so you're going to be around 250 to 260 C when you're printing with this PETG. Again, very little stringing, especially for how hot it is, and not too bad of a print. Again, like I said, you don't have to do the carbon fiber infill if you do not want to. And that first layer actually looks really good as well. For this bag holder, you could most likely print this without the carbon fiber in maybe just over an hour. But since it's laying down this carbon fiber, it's going to take around 7 hours. You could actually see it laying down the carbon fiber. And what it is doing, like I mentioned early on, is that it's pushing the filament through a 90-degree bend in this nozzle. And you can actually see, not in this unfortunately, that it is like a molten pool of filament, and the carbon fiber is pushing right through that molten pool of filament. Thus it is actually coating the carbon fiber and that molten filament, and it's melting the previous layer all at the same time. It's a very unique process and pretty darn slick. And all this can be adjusted in the slicer for how much carbon fiber you want to use. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some prints. We already looked at this benchy and it came out really nice. Again, I have really no complaints about it. It actually took about 40 minutes, so compared to the speed demons that are out there, you know what, this is just a little bit below average. But again, it was PETG. Now I did print out this wrench here, and you can see that it has a carbon fiber inlay on it, and it printed pretty darn nicely, minus some stringing there, but I think that was more towards the model, and this wrench really isn't that usable. I mean, I don't think you're going to grip a nut with that. So what I decided to do was actually pause or stop the prints for some of these, so you can actually see different levels of how the carbon fiber is inlaid. So this is just, like a dozen layers tall here, and you can see how it is actually putting the carbon fiber down. So you can see this is about 2 or 3 times as tall, and you can actually see how the carbon fiber is inlaying around basically the outsides of this, reinforcing it. And here's the last one here. Again, you can see how the reinforcement works here. I think you get the gist of it now, but you can see it works pretty nice. The top rockets are just decorative. Now this is a completed one. Again, this is a bag holder, so you just loop the bags around the bottom here as to carry like multiple bags at the same time. However, I did have a print failure. It was a pretty bad failure because the right extruder got jammed. And the reason why it got jammed, well, it couldn't pull the filament because I had actually the filament dryer on the table versus down low, so it had too many loops and the extruder couldn't pull it through. And I also had the lid on, and that made the chamber way too hot. So lessons learned. However, I think this is a great educational piece in how it actually works for the carbon fiber, how it melts the carbon fiber to each layer and coats it. pretty darn cool. So, but we are going to test this bag holder because I think it's worth a test. I have some dumbbells and I'm going to see how much weight I can actually pull on it. But first, let's see how much this weighs. Well, let's first do freedom units. We are looking at 1.6 ounces. What is that in grams? This thing only weighs 40 grams. This is super light. I don't know. So I grabbed all the dumbbells from our room and we're looking at around 76 pounds, and I got a really awesome Harbor Freight ratchet strap. So let's go ahead and test it. Okay, within this mess, we have 76 pounds and a 40-gram PETG part that's been infused with carbon fiber, continuous carbon fiber. So let's see if it breaks, or I break, or if I could even lift it. We'll see. Balance, whatever. We'll just do the crutch over here and take this and wow, that is pretty darn impressive. I didn't even see this thing flex. Let's do it again. Wow. Call me impressed. I'm not going to do it again because I can't use my hands to walk, and that's not really comfortable to grip. So, but demonstration, that's pretty darn strong. So I know this is a prototype, but I want to give some opinions on it because you know what? It is needed. I really like that you could basically infuse carbon fiber into practically any material that this machine is capable of printing with. So if you want to do PETG, just make sure you buy 2 spools of the same PETG. And that goes for any of the other filaments that you choose. And you could actually choose how much or how little you want of the carbon fiber. And speaking of the carbon fiber, 50 meters is only $50. And I really think that is a bargain. Again, it could last up to 5 spools. Well, combined spools, because again, you have to get 2 of those spools. So theoretically, if you really think about it, that's 10 spools, because you have to pair them up. And now it goes with the opposite. You don't have to use this carbon fiber reinforcement if you don't want to. It's a great standalone printer. And through my tests, I really believe it really has that strength that they really are mentioning in their marketing. And I get it, it is a prototype. And this is not going to be what you receive as a customer. It's a little rough around the edges. However, there is a mechanical aspect that I want to point out. You are running 2 nozzles, and for it to switch the 2 nozzles, it has to hit one side, and then it switches mechanically to the other, and vice versa. And since this is mechanical, you know, these parts are going to wear out. It is proprietary, so we want to make sure that manufacturers like this support these products for an extended period of time, and proper documentation to maintain this machine and or fix it when needed. Now, given a lot of the materials that it can print can be hygroscopic, so that means that the filament holders on the back may not be adequate if you're in that type of environment, such as me. So you're going to want to make sure that you have room in back for a filament dryer like I do, and it didn't mention this before, but it does have a poop chute. So yes, you're going to want to make sure that you do have space behind the printer to use. In addition, this machine is not light. It weighs quite a lot, so it was a team lift operation to get it on the bench top. Now, this is also a Kickstarter, and just as a disclaimer, because this is my video here, and I'm the one that's showing you this product, do not back a Kickstarter unless you have money to burn. As we all know in the agreements with Kickstarter that they are not responsible if a campaign is not successful. I have personally backed 7 Kickstarters, and only 1 has not been successful. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, that the price is $26.99 with a $50 deposit. Now on the FibreSeek shop, it mentions something about the VIP pricing. Now I do not have the details as of yet, so please pay attention for that VIP pricing in the description down below. I'll try to keep it as updated as possible, along with the links to the shop as well as the Kickstarter campaign. I would also like to thank FibreSeek CEO Ryan on the left and Tuan, the president of America's FibreSeek on the right, for visiting my garage and personally upgrading some of the components within the FibreSeeker 3 to make it more production ready than the prototype that I received. That definitely was not on my bingo card. And they got a chance to try some Chicago deep dish pizza while they were here. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in to Tripod's Garage. Please have a wonderful day, evening, or weekend, or whenever you decide to watch this video. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you again on Tripod's Garage. £30 or 35 pounds. Yeah, I'm almost tempted to go full send, but you know what? We're gonna just keep on going. So now let's add 8 more pounds. Okay, the bag ripped. So I'll be back in a minute and see how we could lift them all.